I'm Samuel Prestridge, and these are three poems from my book, A Dog's Job of Work, from Sligo Creek Publishing. First poem is about a woman leaving uh, a relationship in the Mississippi Delta. The Mississippi Delta is absolutely flat for hundreds of miles. And the joke is you can watch your children running away for 3 days straight. The title of the poem is When a Woman's Finally Had Enough in Alligator, Mississippi, she walks down Highway 61 to 444, dog legs to Highway 1, turns south, and walks to Rosedale. Land so flat you can watch her walk for 3 days straight. You can watch her put mad feet to ground she wants behind her. No plan but slapping roads, hot and straight as hell's bylaws. Plodding 27 miles in a heat to match her anger, no ride or rider either. She means by this to say, you're left. Except you can side her between thumb and index, pinch back when she's down to size, hold her, pocket her to keep the small voice piping hot. Rest of your life, who knew what went wrong, she'll shrill. You'll do nothing but listen, sag in a heat for keeping scorpions, her being a boil on all your possibles, a burning you'll husband till you limp in dotty circles. Or you can watch her feet, her legs disappear in heat shimmer, blue white radiance. She'll look hip deep in spilt milk, juking, dancing her own jubilee. Lean forward in your chair. Think how there's music, must be, places she's walking. Think how you might hear what makes her move that way if you were closer. This next poem, um, I knew a woman in Monroe County, Mississippi. It's Monroe County, but it's pronounced Monroe for some reason. Um, who was the only woman in the county who would style the hair of corpses. She would have to go in the middle of the night to the funeral home all by herself and wash and set the hair of corpses for the funeral the next day. This is called Getting a Haircut from the Only Woman in Monroe County, Mississippi, who was willing to go to funeral homes in the middle of the night and style the hair of corpses. My scalp listened, her fingers telling phone calls 3 a.m. when the corpses were prepped. She'd wash and dress their hair, mom's silvered pixie, granny's blue helmet, turn death into a Sunday nap so visitors would walk softly, whisper what they'd left to say. Wash, rinse, wash, rinse. She styled by pictures left for her and aimed for open casket. No surprises, but covering surprises. A gunshot to the temple might untoward the familiar, might demand a nightmare comb over. Facial cruelties, slashes, crushed cheekbones might be concealed by Enora's luxurious swoops, cascading locks. I thought how the dead missed out on what her fingers said, the warmth of her body on the back of my neck, a flesh scent almost floral I'd recognize today. She told me she was never scared, indifferent to the opinions of the dead, or just not superstitious. I didn't know. I never asked if she talked to them the way she talked to me, if she passed on gossip, secrets, the way she'd pack a lunch. I simply asked if she saw it as a sideline or a calling. The dead are only customers, she said, and leaned me back to rinse my hair. I knew a man who was an underwater welder. He would dive in the Mississippi River, and he had, in the Mississippi, he said there was a visibility of about that much. Um, his wife left him, and he never mentioned it, never said anything about it. Um, but he told me, I was one of the few times I talked to him, he said the only thing that scared him about diving in the Mississippi was trees that would soak until they had neutral buoyancy. They kept a certain depth and just kind of rocked along at that depth. He said one of those could kill a diver because he wouldn't see it coming. Um, and the two things became sort of one thing in this poem. The title is "Just as a huge tree falls into the headwaters of the Mississippi and begins its drift southward, an underwater welder talks to me about diving, zero visibility, and the threat imposed by neutral buoyancy." After his wife left, fled, or went back home to give birth, decided not to come back, and didn't send word of any issue, he never spoke of her, the child, never tried to see the child, avoided anyone who might ask. I sometimes thought of the kid soaking up whatever his mama's people might say, soaking up whatever anger might be brought to bear. Just as a huge tree falls into the headwaters of the Mississippi and begins its drift southward, an underwater welder talks to me about diving, zero visibility, and the threat imposed by neutral buoyancy. After his wife left, fled, or went back home to give birth, decided not to come back, and didn't send word of any issue, he never spoke of her, the child, never tried to see the child, avoided anyone who might ask. I sometimes thought of the kid soaking up whatever his mama's people might say, soaking up whatever anger might be brought to bear in meeting, refusing to meet his father. After she left, he spent spare time in the pool testing diving gear. He liked to see his shimmering breath where bubbles hit or missed pretty girls swimming by. You breathe, he said. Whatever else is just convergence. If that's so, I said, why stay here? She's left, you've stayed put. Said back, big money diving in the Mississippi. At depth, you can't see anything, water's so muddy. That kind of dark, you just work and breathe. What worried him? A tree falls in the river, soaks up 2,000 miles. It soaks and sinks up until it doesn't sink or soak, just heaves along, keeping whatever depth toward the Gulf. A 1,000-pound trunk will soak up 2.5 times its weight, gets here moving along at about 3 miles an hour, 1,500 joules of force time it gets to me. Said, do the math. Won't see it coming. You stop waiting to die, go on with your welding, hope it's the next guy's look to. If he's lucky, he'll never know what hit him.